Welcome to Sold by MC, where Philly real estate always tells a story. Welcome back to Sold by MC. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. Today's guest is someone I am so excited to introduce to Sold by MC. She's a true powerhouse for new agents, a wealth of knowledge for buyers and sellers, and one of the most well-rounded professionals in our industry, Kathy Krebs. Kathy's path into real estate is really anything but ordinary. She started her career in pharmaceutical research, then moved through design, staging, transition management, and organizing. And now she uses all of that experience to guide clients through one of the biggest transitions of their lives, finding their forever home. She's lived all over the country and started calling Philly home back in 2011, and she's been making an impact here ever since. She's known for her clarity, her kindness, and her no-nonsense advice for new agents. Kathy is also deeply involved in the industry, including her work with the Women's Council of Realtors, where she uplifts and mentors agents across the city. And if that's not impressive enough, Kathy is also a lifelong learner, a board game and trivia enthusiast, a Jeopardy contestant, and someone who brings both brains and hearts into every conversation. Kathy, welcome to Sold by MC.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here.
It is great to have you on. I'm so excited to bring you in and for you to get to share with our listeners just a little bit about your world and your experiences here with real estate. So let's start it off. You've had such an interesting path from pharmaceutical research, design, organizing, transition management. We've got a lot going on. What eventually led you into real estate, and when did it click that this was really where you wanted to be for good?
So it's interesting. I didn't think that this would end up being the job I would be in. So it was actually my husband's suggestion that he was like, you've got all this experience doing all this stuff. I think you should get a real estate license. And I was like, okay, all right. So I got a real estate license, went on Jeopardy, said I was a realtor. And that's kind of how it started.
Great path forward. I mean, the Jeopardy enthusiast over here.
Yeah, so if you can go on a game show and say you're a real estate agent, it's super helpful.
All right. And you've lived all over the country. What made Philly the place that you chose to call home?
Well, first of all, it's great. It's kind of the perfect size for everything. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Kentucky. I've been to New York. I've been to Chicago. And I think just in terms of size and what the city offers, it's super easy to navigate. We've got a world-class food scene. We've got sports. We've got plays. You can get to other places on the East Coast if you like to travel. We've got a huge airport. So, yeah, it's great. It's just the perfect place to be for me.
Yeah, and no one likes us, and we don't care. That's a great city for you to live in, too, Kathy, given just knowing you for so long and our friendship. Kathy is the I don't give a beep person, and we are so excited to hear these stories from you today. But how do you feel that this city has really shaped your work in real estate?
That's an interesting question, because I have only ever been a realtor in Philly. So I think this job changes every day. It's always exciting. You're absolutely never, ever going to get bored. And I think the most fun part of it, just from a city perspective, is Philly actually is a city of neighborhoods. And each neighborhood has its own flair, its own identity. And it, showing houses in each different neighborhood, it's kind of just a different experience.
Absolutely. And with your kind of variety of backgrounds, How does that influence the way that you guide your buyers and sellers today?
So I think that like the pharmaceutical part of it, that's just details. That's like spreadsheets and paying attention to things. So there's the fun side of it, or it's let's go look at cute houses and let's go have fun and have lunch after and blah, blah, blah. But the actual big part of the job is paperwork and details and transaction management. And if you're not good at all of the components of the job, you won't be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And kind of transitioning to your work with buyers, sellers, your showings. On the buyer side, what's something people really don't realize that they actually need from their agent to feel supported?
So I think in both sides of the transaction, they need an agent to listen to them. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of times people are like, here's exactly what I want. I've got this all figured out. A lot of times they're wrong. They think they know what they want. It's not actually what they want and what's going to be best for them in long term. So I think clear communication, listening to your clients, providing them feedback in what it is that you hear them saying. Because sometimes if you just mirror it back to them, they don't even actually realize what they just said to you.
Yeah, we're their home therapists.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And for your sellers, what do you feel is the biggest mistake homeowners make before listing?
I think it's great in that people attempt to be proactive. So they will do all of these things before they ever reach out to an agent. So, they'll call you for the listing appointment or call for a walkthrough, and they're so proud of themselves because they're like, we just replaced this. We have a brand new HVAC system. We remodeled the bathroom. And at that point, once that money is spent, you can't tell them they wasted it. Mm-hmm. A lot of times the stuff that sellers do in preparation is a waste of money. They should talk to an agent and let the agent tell them what to spend the money on.
Absolutely. And there's been a lot of listings and agents I've spoken with where, they put a lot of work into their home over the years. Mm-hmm. They sell 5 years later, but they've renovated it to fit their taste and not necessarily the taste of the market. And that's really affected some listings getting sold. So definitely reach out to your agent prior to listing. I think that's great advice. How, as an agent, though, can you help them avoid that type of thing?
So you have to talk to them before they do it. Mm-hmm. Once I sell a house to a client, I have to assume I'm going to be the person that lists it again in the future. So if there are issues or drawbacks with the property, obviously we discuss them before my client buys the property, but I'm like, I want you to remember this. Yep. In 8 years, when I come back here and I give you a list of here are going to be the issues in listing and it's going to affect the sales price and it could potentially make it take longer to sell. And sometimes it's stuff that they can't control, like it's on a busy street or it backs up to the train tracks or, sometimes it just is what it is. Yeah. So it's a city and cities are busy and yeah.
And when you love your agent, right, it is that forever relationship where you're getting them in that house, give them that advice beforehand. I think that's really strong advice for our listeners. One of my favorite questions for you, I've been waiting for this one, Kathy, because there are so many stories you could tell us. You've seen a lot of homes and a lot of situations. What is the craziest or most unexpected thing that you have encountered during a showing?
I have lots of stories. Some of them are not appropriate to share. So I actually was just talking to Mona who is our lovely front desk person and office manager.
We love Mona.
Yes, she's fantastic. Anyway, so I knew I was going to be asked this question. So when I very, very first started in real estate, I went to host my first open house. And it was a neighborhood I wasn't super familiar with. I was nervous, typically nervous. So anyway, so I got to the house and I knock on the door because the listing agent had said, you should expect the seller to be there. He'll give you access. It's not on the lockbox. So I knock on the door. The seller answers. He is wearing a robe. It is open. He is not wearing anything under the robe. So, of course, I'm like, hi, I'm Kathy. I'm here to host the open house. I'll stay out here on the porch. I'll give you some time to get yourself put together. Open house starts in 15 minutes. If you want to give me your number, I can text you when it's time to come back. And of course, he's like, nope, gonna stay for the whole thing.
Great.
Gonna be up in my office working. So I was like, okay, if you could close the robe, keep the door shut, I'll come inside, knock on the door to let you know a stranger who ostensibly wants to buy your house would like to see this room. And I'll just sit on the front porch because at that point, I'm super uncomfortable. Anyway, nobody comes to this open house. And I'm sitting on the front porch, messing around on my phone, not paying attention. And something rubs up against my leg. And of course, I assume it's a cat. And I put my hand down to pet it. And it was a raccoon. And it peed on me. So I came home from this very first open house, hysterical, crying. My husband is like, what in God's name happened? I'm trying to explain it to him. He's like, why do you smell like pee? So I think that the good news is that was absolutely the worst open house situation. And after that, it's been completely uphill.
You've had quite the warm up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say that happened on my first open houses. My goodness. And let alone your very first one. Just anything that could have happened that day.
Yeah. And I am typically the person that if something strange is going to happen,
it's going to happen to Kathy.
Happen to me.
What are your must-dos for agents when prepping for showings? I know you've got a lot of advice you gave me back in the day.
Yeah. So first of all, in the Bright system, you should set up an itinerary with your clients. You can send that itinerary to them. It gives them a breakdown of like what the time frame is for each showing. It just helps to keep you on schedule. That same itinerary actually has an agent's version, which is super helpful because you can print out turn-by-turn directions if you need those. It'll give you access info for each property, something to check, especially if you're affiliate agent, is if any of those houses have a super lockbox, because you're going to need to prep for that before you get there. If you think you're going to be in a neighborhood that doesn't have GPS, like you're going to lose your signal. Mm-hmm. Make sure you've got access instructions and how to get to the next place printed. If you think your clients might need to use the restroom, which happens, make sure you've got toilet paper with you. Flush the toilet before anybody uses it. If the water is turned off to the property, that's going to be a big problem. I've had it happen. Keep your phone in your pocket. Keep the keys to the house in your pocket. If you walk on to a roof deck, if you walk on to a screened-in porch, a lot of those have exterior doors and they lock automatically. Mm-hmm. And if you're not careful, you're going to find yourself trapped on a roof with your clients in 28-degree weather. So just make sure that, you're not literally backing yourself into a bad situation.
One of my first clients, I took her out on a roof deck, and you gave me that advice before I did that. And I literally didn't have anything to put in the door. So I took my shoe off and I put my shoe in the door. I was like, I'm not about to get locked out on this roof deck with my client. We giggled about it that I had one shoe on, but huge thing. You don't want to get stuck up there.
Icebreaker.
Huge icebreaker. Lots of laughs that day. So if you could give new agents one habit that really sets them up for success early on, what would it be?
So I think this is do as I say, not as I do moment. Start tracking stuff. Build a spreadsheet, get a CRM, start keeping track of your clients, like what you've shown them, how often you've been in contact with them, how active they are in the market. It's easy, especially if, you're smart like Mary Claire, to just kind of keep track in your brain and make scribbled notes. And at some point, as your business picks up, it's going to be too much. And you're going to need some way to go back and look at stuff and figure out where you're at in the process with each of your clients and what the best next step is.
Yeah, and keep notes of their interests, what they do for a living, areas they're interested in. You think you'll remember these things and you're going to forget 10 minutes after that conversation when another client calls you. There's a lot to keep track of. I think that's great advice. What's the number one? Do not do this mistake you see new agents make.
So when you start, you're going to basically get big commission checks. That is not all your money. So you need to figure out your relationship with the IRS pretty quickly. You should make quarterly payments. You can set up an LLC. There are different ways to manage it, but it's best to get a hold of it right off the bat. So I think a good rule of thumb, at least at first, if you're not sure, is set aside like 40 to 50%.
Yeah. Some great financial planning advice today from Miss Kathy. You're active in the Philly Women's Council of Realtors and other committees. Why should new agents get involved? How has it helped your own growth?
So I think especially if you're a new agent, it helps with credibility because it shows you're not just a fly-by-night agent. You didn't get into this business to make a quick buck, which, by the way, is actually not possible. So just if you're thinking about getting your license and you think it's quick, easy money, you're wrong. But I think it helps build credibility with potential clients. It helps you build relationships with experienced agents in the business. It helps you see some of the backside, like inner workings of, there's a lot of legislation. There's a lot of infrastructure involved. So I think it's good from that perspective. Also, it just helps you build your knowledge base because the more information and the more knowledge you have, the better agent you can be for your client.
Absolutely. And no matter where you live, get involved. Get involved in real estate, volunteer, get involved with your community. It's a great way to learn from experts. Okay, exciting piece, quick fire round. And then because you're our trivia queen, I have some trivia for us. Just a new surprise to the podcast. Cheesesteak order.
I'm not from here. I know I'm supposed to say like wit and keep moving. I actually like it with provolone and onions and peppers.
Interesting. Okay.
I think I'd probably get shot if I tried to order that in public, but yeah, it's good.
And if you were one Philly neighborhood, based on your personality, your vibe, think Rittenhouse Square, Old City, Chestnut Hill, wherever, which would you be and why?
I think I have to say Chestnut Hill because I live there It's great. I love it. It's very kind of like Norman Rockwell-esque. It's got cobblestone streets and like shops that have been around for 100+ years. It's very much like a village in a big city, but it's got access to tons of parks. We've got great restaurants.
Boutiques, the cutest boutiques.
Cute boutiques. So yeah, I think it's a great place to be.
Yeah, I love Chestnut Hill. All right. Trivia. What year did the Philly cheesesteak officially debut? A, 1930, B, 1955, or C, 1972?
Okay. I'm going to try to logic my way into this because I have absolutely no idea.
Give us the rundown.
It's not 1930. I think it's either 55 or whatever the 1970s was, because they cook the meat on a griddle and like chop it up.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the 50s.
It was A, 1930.
No! How is that possible? How did they cook it?
That's a really great question.
Okay,
Flame.
now I have homework and I have to go research.
We're going to research this.
Philly cheesesteaks. Great.
We'll get back to them next time we bring you on with your research. All right, which Philly neighborhood is home to the country's oldest residential street? A, Society Hill, B, Old City, C, Queen Village.
Okay, it's Alfred's Alley. And that is in Old City.
Boom. Okay. You got 1 out of 2 so far. Okay, sports trivia, and then we've got a pop culture one.
Okay.
Which Philly mascot was named the most beloved in the U.S. back in 2023? A, Gritty, B, the Philly Fanatic, or C, Swoop?
Okay. Again, I'm going to try to logic my way into this. I think it's the Philly Fanatic because when Gritty was announced, everyone hated him until the rest of the country decided they hated him. And then Philly got belligerent and was like, nope, he's the best. And I think, actually, I'm going to switch it. It's Gritty.
It is Gritty.
Okay.
Good job.
Yeah.
Wait, what made you choose Gritty there?
Because I literally just
Talking
bought
in
a
circles?
friend. Yeah, basically, I just bought a friend a Gritty ornament for Christmas. Yeah, and it's people that do not live in Philly.
Okay.
So.
All right, last question. This is one of my favorite ones. Where was the opening scene of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air filmed? A, West Philly, B, Center City, or C, it wasn't even filmed in Philly?
I don't think it was filmed here.
Okay, bonus if you can get where.
Bel-Air.
In L.A., yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then just for fun, because I love Will Smith. Favorite Will Smith movie?
Independence Day.
Really?
Yeah, it's so good. If it's on TV, I end up watching it every single time. It's really
So
good.
Okay. I'd say like Hitch or I Am Legend. Those are so good.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Kathy, thank you so much for coming
Thanks for
on.
having me.
And everyone, Kathy Krebs, the woman of real estate. She's incredible. Reach out to her with any real estate questions you have your way. Reach out to myself. We are here to guide, support you through the home buying and selling process. Thank you again, Kathy. It's been so fun.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
As always, thanks for tuning in to Sold by MC. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you have any questions, guest ideas, or need help with your home search here in Philly, you can always reach me at maryclaire@ewrhomes.com. See you next time.